I definitely want to network more. That's my number one. That's another reason why I came back to school. So I know you asked kind of like what drew me back to coming back to get my MBA in Scheller specifically. That networking piece is super important, not just right now, but in the future. I really need to grow my network. So being able to do that at Coca-Cola with all the different departments that are there, like that's really important to me. But then also being able to see how marketing works in a large corporate organization is also really interesting to me.
Welcome to another episode of the Intersection Podcast, brought to you by the Georgia Tech Scheller College of Business. I'm your host, Annalisa Wade. I'm a first-year full-time MBA student here at Scheller. We're bringing you another episode in our summer series featuring an awesome student, Korin Carney, who is going to talk to us about her internship journey, her first year at Georgia Tech Scheller, and her full experience. So, hi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm excited. This is fun.
This is so fun. I'm so happy that you're here and that we're going to finally talk about. I have a billion questions I've been meaning to ask you, and this is the perfect platform.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, so first, thanks for coming on the podcast. Maybe tell me, before we even get into all the details, what is your favorite thing about Scheller so far, like your first year?
My favorite thing about Scheller so far in my first year, well, one, I really enjoyed my professors, both the first semester and the second semester as well. I feel like they're so knowledgeable. They're really passionate about the work that they do. I like how they have their own unique way of teaching the class, and you can kind of tell, you learn a lot about them in going to class. And I think being able to have kind of like an insight into their personal lives and things that they share with you along the way was really, really cool. Like they were great. I really enjoyed my professors.
So kind of like building that personal connection and also getting a different experience with each professor.
Yes, they helped make the coursework real, which was really important for me.
That's awesome. Okay, so we know your favorite thing. What about your story? What actually brought you to Scheller? What were you doing beforehand?
Yeah, so I actually started out my career doing IT recruiting.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed making those personal connections with candidates and help them find jobs. But there came a time around 2017 where everybody was like, we need a digital marketer, but they didn't really know what they needed that person for. And I was like, oh, I think I want to do that. What is that? So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and get my digital marketing certification from General Assembly, located in Ponce City Market. And from there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm going to do it. And I worked as an independent contractor for about 5 years. I started out actually working for an influencer here in the city, doing project management and marketing for her. And then I transitioned to working for an influencer marketing agency after that. But I knew at some point that there were technical skills that I needed to kind of upskill on for this next step in my journey in my career. So that's why I was like, okay, I want to get my MBA, but if I get it, I need to go to the best of the best. Like, I need to go, if I'm going to shoot, I'm going to shoot high. So I was like, all right, Georgia Tech, I'm going to apply. I'm going to see what happens. And I got in. I was like, bet, I'm going.
That is awesome. I mean, we kind of have a similar journey. I have a marketing background too. And I guess, you know, you pivot into from IT recruiting to digital marketing, and then now you're here. Is that something you're still trying to pursue, or like you want to advance your career in digital marketing, or are you expanding? What does that look like?
So I definitely want to expand. So that's why the opportunity of my internship in Coca-Cola is so exciting, because I get that global aspect, which I think is the next step. Like, I've done a lot of social campaigns. I've done a lot of paid media campaigns and that sort of thing, but I haven't had the opportunity to really see what that landscape looks like on a global scale. So I think that's going to be really exciting. That's the perfect next step for me, I think.
That's awesome. So wait, you just dropped it in there. So we're going to Coca-Cola for the summer. So that's where you're interning. What's your role?
So I'll be a global strategy intern there.
Okay.
So I'll be on their hydration, sports, coffee, and tea teams. Ooh. So like Powerade, Smart Water, Costa. Yeah.
I love that. Love Powerade. It's like my go-to drink. I won't get too deep into that, but if you get free drinks, think of me.
I will.
No, okay, that's really cool. So do you know a little bit more about like what the main differences on the global like aspect will be, or what that might look like for you, or you have no idea yet?
So because I'm very overzealous, right? After my interviews and after they told me that I got the internship, I was like, okay. I talked to my recruiter. I was like, can I speak to my manager? Can we like set up a time for us to talk? So he told me a lot more about him and the people that I will be working with, but he couldn't give me too much detail on what the actual work and the internship itself would look like, because I was having this conversation back in March. He was like, whoa,
Wow.
we're not there yet.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. I just wanted to pick your brain and see. But I do know that for the Olympics coming up, they did a ad with, oh Lord, I'm forgetting. Simone Biles.
Oh, I knew it.
They did an ad with Powerade and Simone Biles, and it was really speaking to how it's okay to take some time off and rest, and how that's good for your body and not to feel bad about it. I always get her and Gabby Douglas's name mixed up.
Yeah.
But they did a promotion, and I was like, yo, that's so dope.
Yeah.
Even just from even with us being students and being in school, right? There are moments where we've had to say, okay, I need a second. Like I gotta close this laptop for a second.
Yeah.
So I saw that and I was like, yeah, this was perfect for me. This is where I'm supposed to be.
And it's really hard, like when you have those moments, like to allow yourself to take a break, because you almost feel like you're doing something wrong, where it's like, nah, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, but really learning how to almost force yourself to take a break.
Yeah, we are deserving of rest.
We are. So those are the type of impactful campaigns you're hoping to work on.
Yeah,
over the summer.
absolutely.
All right, I'll be excited to learn if that is what comes to fruition. That would be cool. So what was the journey like to actually, maybe before you got the interview, like applying? Did you already know in the beginning, I want to be at Coca-Cola? Was there like a mix of places you were applying to? What was that like?
So I applied to a bunch of places. Like anywhere that had a position where I was like, oh, I know I can do that, or I know I can do that, or I really like that company, I was like, I'm going to apply. Even if I knew like it was a super technical role and I may not have been qualified for it, I applied anyway, because why not? Shoot your shot, right? But I ended up going to Jazz Fest in Atlanta last year with my girlfriend who went to Spelman.
Oh my gosh,
and she introduced me to her homegirl who went to Spelman.
Oh wow.
Named AP.
Okay.
And I was talking to AP, and she was like, oh, well, what do you do? And where do you go to school and all of that? And we actually met up again, homecoming. And I talked to her about what I was trying to do. And she was like, let me know if you're interested, because she works on the Sprite team. So it was really about networking and connections and being in the right place at the right time and making sure that I followed up with people. That's how I got the internship. Like how people say like your network is your net worth. That's so true.
Yeah. So yours was a networking journey, and then kind of like a referral in a sense.
Yes.
So what about from your other applications? Did you hear like things back from other companies, like when you cold applied, or was it all network based?
So I had heard things back from a couple of the companies that I applied for, but not as fast as Coca-Cola.
Wow.
So Coca-Cola was really like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how long things should take. This is who you're going to be speaking to. Because actually when I interviewed at Coke, originally I interviewed for two completely different teams than the team that I got the internship with.
Wow.
Yeah, so I interviewed for their alcohol ready-to-drink team, which is essentially like, they're putting alcohol and Coca-Cola in a can, though they're not selling it here in the U.S. just yet. But I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then also their marketing transformation teams. But my last round of interviews, I interviewed with a completely global team, and that's the team that was like, yo, we want her. Because the other two teams, they said, we don't really have the bandwidth to take on an intern right now. But then Global Strategy was like, yeah, we'll take her.
That's almost like the best, because my situation is similar. So the actual role I'm doing this summer with Microsoft is not the one I originally interviewed for.
Okay.
But it's a better fit.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, wait.
Okay, so what's your role? You didn't tell me.
So I'm going to be a product marketing manager. Don't do that. We're not supposed to talk about me. But fine, since we're here.
Okay.
I'll be a product marketing manager.
Congratulations.
And thank you. With Microsoft and Copilot for Service, which is basically their third-party integration with Salesforce, ServiceNow.
I've seen it pop up on my teams. Like Copilot comes up.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So we'll have to kind of see like how that all plays out. But that's not what I originally interviewed for. It's better. So I'm happy about that. But that was the whole point I was making, is that you can go in one way and then things just flip and then you're like, whoa, I didn't think this, but I'll take it. I
Yeah.
want to do that. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had your whole journey, you networked, that's how you got your position. What are you hoping to get out of the experience at Coca-Cola? Like, what are some goals? What are priorities? What are you thinking?
I definitely want to network more. That's my number one. That's another reason why I came back to school. So I know you asked kind of like what drew me back to coming back to get my MBA in Scheller specifically. That networking piece
Yeah.
is super important, not just right now, but in the future. I really need to grow my network. So being able to do that at Coca-Cola with all the different departments that are there, like that's really important to me. But then also being able to see how marketing works in a large corporate organization is also really interesting to me.
Because you had agency experience. Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
I had agency experience. So every client that came to us, it was different, and they were coming to us for a specific reason. So being able to see how that works on a global scale with Coca-Cola is going to be really cool. And then also, like, it just seems like a really fun company. Like, if you go to their Instagram and you kind of see what they have going on, and just kind of see, like, I use TikTok as a search engine, right? And I'll look up like working at Coca-Cola corporate headquarters, Atlanta or whatever, they have a good time there. So I'm really interested to see, because you hear that they take really good care of their people, but I'm interested to see firsthand what that feels like and to be a part of that community. So that's exciting to me.
Yeah, we literally had same priorities, because same, like culture, making sure it's a fun environment, like definitely work hard, but can we play hard too? Like,
Yes.
I think that's important, having the work-life balance thing. And you'll still be here in Atlanta
I'll still
too?
be here.
Was that intentional?
So it wasn't intentional, but I found that when I kind of added up all my finances and bills and all the things, I was like, okay, not only is this title, really important to me, the company seems like a really great fit, but if I can have all of this and also save some money, like, why not?
Yeah.
So it like you said, everything works out the way that it's supposed to.
Absolutely. Wow, this is just so inspiring to hear. It's like, think about where we were when we first started.
Stressed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still stressed, but
Yes.
but in the beginning, like, extremely stressed, not knowing where you're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at that time, think back to like orientation week.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine being here saying that you're going to Coca-Cola? Like,
Nope.
is that what you like?
Nope.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah. So what do you think were some of the things that you did along the way? We talked about networking, but what
Yeah.
else do you feel like played a role in your success and landing your internship and doing well over your first year?
So I am a person who stays hyper focused. So sometimes to my detriment, because you know how we talked about analysis paralysis?
Mhm.
That's me. Like sometimes it takes me some time to make decisions just because I want to make sure I'm making the right one. I've got my checklist down. I got to make sure all the boxes are checked and everything. But staying hyper focused was really important to me. Also, I'm one of those students where I was working while I was in school.
Yeah.
So it was like, I gotta make this work. Like I don't have anything to fall back on if it doesn't. So it's going to work. So saying that over and over again, having a really great support system with my girlfriend and my family and my friends and people cheering me on, that helped tremendously. Like this was not something that I did alone. I have a lot of people rooting for me in the back that that really pushed me through, and my professors as well. I've made some great connections with them, but really staying focused and figuring out my why and keeping being mindful of my why kept me going because it was hard,
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm glad you're being honest, because I feel like it can be downplayed a little bit of, what you're going to be going through when you enter the program. So just being frank, like it was a
Yeah.
lot. It still is a lot, but it's
Mhm.
doable and you can
Yeah.
do it as long as you have the great support system.
Yeah.
So just two more questions here. I know you talked about your family and the network you're building. What about the Scheller community? Is there any clubs that you were involved in or any way that you built community here that helped you get to where you are now?
Yes. So I will be the new VP of Alumni Relations for Blacks in Business.
I didn't know this.
Yes,
Oh my
girl!
gosh, congratulations.
Thank you. So that community was really, really important to me to make sure that I found the Black community here at Scheller, and I was able to fellowship with them that was so key for me. So being in that organization was great. But then every now and again, I pop out. I feel like I'm one of those people where when you got to catch me when you see me.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't see you like that often, but when I do, it's always nice.
Yeah. So that was really exciting. And then also like my core team. I loved my core team. We had a great time. Every time I see Neil from Mobile, I'm like, Neil, where have you been? I miss you. So Neil, and then I'm really close with Lizette. So Lizette Chavez and I, we hang out a lot. Which
Was
is
she
really
on your core
cool.
team as well?
Yep, she was on my core team as well. So it was really cool to get like the Peruvian experience from her. So I have my people that I make sure we check in with each other. You good? Do you need anything? When I was looking for jobs, I was sending jobs to other people. Especially, if I came across something and I was like, oh, this would be really great for Lizette, or this would be great for Neil, or I know I feel like I sent Connor something randomly. So that's really my way of building community with people is like, okay, how can I pour into you? And then I know, hopefully, eventually, it'll be reciprocated. So I don't get out as much as I would like to. I do not be a Cypress.
Yeah, but next year we're going to change that.
We're going to.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully.
And I guess is there any lasting like advice that you want to give to prospective students or students that have already been admitted that are going to be in your shoes this time next year?
Yes, be patient. And they tell us that in orientation. They say everybody will get an internship. Don't freak out. Like, be patient and be open to opportunities that you may not have considered before. So a lot of the times when we get so stuck on the one thing that we want, we let all these other opportunities pass us by because we want that one thing. So being patient, being open to opportunities, and have fun.
Yeah.
Like, keep your head in the books, but have some fun. Like, you're not going to get these 2 years back. Once they're gone, they're gone. Then we're back in the real world, like doing all the things again, trying to make sure that we're replying to text messages and keeping up with people. Like, while you have the time, have fun.
I love that. No, that's really good advice. I distinctly remember them saying what you kind of said. Everyone's going to get an internship, but then the second part, it's all going to be at different times. There's going to be some people in March and April and May. There'll be some people who the first month they'll already have their stuff secured.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Yes.
It's a beautiful journey as long as you are patient, like you said, and just willing to enjoy the ride. It's definitely worth it.
For sure.
Well, thank you for coming on to the
Thank you for
podcast.
having
This was
me.
awesome. I'm glad to hear about all your success, and I can't wait
Yes.
for you to come back on and talk about how your summer went at Coca-Cola.
Yes, it's gonna be great. And
Thank
congratulations
you.
to you too.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Intersection Podcast. Thank you for watching our summer series. You can catch us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Thank you.